Early voters are already getting their ballots in ahead of their primary Tuesday. For weeks now, Secretary of State Pate's office has worked to ensure security. In a sit-down with Local 5's Her, Secretary Pate is asking Iowans to trust that their ballots are protected.
Since the 2020 presidential elections, the conversation about election fraud is on the forefront. Many people involved in the January 6th Capitol riot in Washington, D.C. believed false claims of election fraud from former President Donald Trump. Rioters included numerous Iowans, including father and son Daryl and Daniel Johnson, who are now serving jail time for their involvement.
So when you look back at from 2020 until now, has Iowa seen any widespread voter fraud?
No, we've not.
In a one-on-one interview with Local 5, Iowa Secretary of State Pate says his office is working diligently to combat misinformation and disinformation.
Some of it is they want to talk about voting equipment. And because they pick on one system that might have had some national attention, they try to drag it and imply that's what we have in Iowa, when it's not.
That includes paying close attention to mail-in ballots as well. Pate's office says in the 2020 elections, the state mailed out just more than 1 million ballots. 95% of those were returned. Of the 994,300 ballots counted, Pate's team says nearly 2,600 were rejected. That's a 0.3% rejection rate.
And you said Iowa has not seen widespread fraud in our elections. Do you think Senate File 413 was necessary then, or do you think that strengthened the system that was already in place?
Well, the legislature writes the laws of the land. I'm the administrator, and like I said, the referee. I'm sure some of your umpires and your officials don't always like every rule that comes out. But I will say this, a lot of what the legislature did was exactly what the voters were asking for.
Pate says the numbers and protocols his office have in place show voters shouldn't worry. In an op-ed he wrote in the Des Moines Register 2 weeks ago, he pointed to research by the Elections Performance Index, which shows Iowa is third in the country for elections performance in 2020. Another layer, Pate says poll workers on both sides of the aisle are trained well, and the machines are top-notch.
I'm very clear and specific. The voting equipment that gets certified by us here in the state of Iowa has been checked and rechecked and gets reviewed before each election and does not have internet hookups, so it's safe. The balloting itself goes into the tabulators, and when the evening is over with, they will be reviewed, and the tabulator will give us preliminary results.
From the preliminary results all the way until the final tally, Pate hopes Iowans have confidence their votes are protected.
My office and me particularly, we don't wear a jersey of a team. We're there to do what's right for the Iowans. Sometimes that doesn't make us popular, but I think at the end of the day, we want you to have confidence and the results are accurate.
Her, Local 5 News, we are Iowa.
And a reminder from Secretary Pate, be sure to check where your correct polling location is before heading out to vote.